Hey everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4 Noob to Expert tutorial with Scott and me. How you doing, Scott?
Fantastic today. How you?
Still baking pizzas down there?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I know. I do. I actually do. Well, I'm good. I just had a war against Poland. I won. I'm getting ready for Anschluss in, well, 70 days it seems. And last time we talked a lot about army experience and what to do with it. Right?
That's right.
And how division templates work and all of that. So I'm going to have the game play on speed 4 here a little bit. And I'm going to do some stuff. I'm going to take all of those. Not the... which are you? You are red, not the tanks, not you. I'm going to take these 15 troops and put them in a new army and bring them right back from the front line home. Haha. You didn't see that coming. Come here. Alright, before we talk about what else you can do with your army experience, we need to set up a defensive line here. We haven't done that yet, so we're going to do that right now. That is a fallback line. We could do garrison area. I like fallback lines more, because you can explicitly tell them where to go. And we're going to guard the coastline over here. This part. All of this part. No, up there please. And they are assigned, and they are going to go where they have to go. Perfect. What's going to happen once we attack Russia or the Soviet Union is they do have access to the Baltic Sea up here, so they are going to send their troops down here and do a naval landing on our northern coast, or on the eastern coast I shall say, because the north coast is technically over here. And we're just gonna put troops on this line to repel an invasion. And I want them to train a little bit, but I'm not overly worried. What we're also going to do is we're now going to take these and make a new theater, just put them down here, and then we're going to tell them to be the last ones to get reinforcements. And actually we're going to rename this. And this is the Coast Guard. There you go. That's how you use theaters. And this up here is the front. I could name it Russian Front, but then I know once this war is done we're gonna go somewhere else, and I don't want to rename them all of the time. It's too much work. And I've had it when I attacked America and it still said Russian Front, so yeah. It's just annoying for those who watch, right? Tell Italy not to switch sides. Scott, don't switch sides.
Okay.
Done. You happy in chat there? Perfect. Can you please eventually get the Tiger tanks? Yeah, probably. I don't mind going heavy tanks. Heavy tanks are fun. So all of this is set up. No need to worry about anything here. So let's talk about the last army experience once we get this research out of the way. We're in 37. Where are we gonna go? That's too early. Way too early. So we're gonna go over here and raise our factory output. That's always good to get as early as possible, because you will just get 15% more factory output, 10% more dockyard output, without actually adding anything. You don't need to produce more factories. They will just produce 15% more. So why wouldn't you want to get that as soon as you can? That button. There you go. The green one. So, let's see. We can build armored vehicles and say we take the Panzer II, the light tank, which is the one that we already have up here. And then we can say create a variant. If you want to have a look at that as well, go into your production. The green button with the wrench.
Yep.
Click on build armored vehicles so you get a new production line. And then you should have a tank in there somewhere, I hope.
Yep.
And then on the right hand side it has a wrench and a screwdriver, this brown button.
Yep.
Create variant, click on that.
Yes.
So let's go down speed 2 for the moment so we don't do anything weird here. Create variant for tanks. You see this has armor, reliability, main gun and engine, right?
Yep.
It also has a name on top which you can change freely, which is quite nice. So what do you need for tanks? What are the main stats? Well, let's see what it does. If you increase armor, you get more max speed, your reliability drops, and your armor goes up, obviously. Right?
Yep.
Good. So if your reliability drops, that basically means you're losing more vehicles due to malfunctioning and to general combat, basically. which means you need to replace them, so you need to produce more. Tanks are expensive, so you don't want your reliability to drop. So whatever you do, you want reliability to be up. So reliability, increasing that is a no-brainer. That's the first thing you actually do. Okay, let's reset that to 0. You see in the bottom right where the save button is, whenever you click plus. Oh, wow, wow. Anschluss has just happened. Thank you. Let's pause for a second.
There it is.
Indian National Congress triumphs in provincial elections. Well, sure. Anschluss. Details. I can do demand Sudetenland. I'm going to do that. I could also demand Slovenia if I wanted. Give me Sudetenland. Give me more factories. Fast. I have unassigned divisions. Wow, things are going fast. Okay. So, reliability is a no-brainer. For everything that is using an engine, reliability needs to go up. That's just how it is, so you don't lose as many. So, main gun. If you up the main gun, you get more soft attack, more hard attack, more piercing. You lose max speed, you lose reliability. Same as armor, basically, they have the same drawbacks. So hard attack, piercing, soft attack. What is that? Why do that? We talked about this in the last episode. Soft attack versus infantry, hard attack versus tanks, and piercing is to actually overcome enemy armor stats. So yeah, the higher your piercing, the better you are. If you can have a light tank with a really, really good gun so that you can pierce early model medium tanks, you can produce a very fast, very cheap tank that can stand up and hold its own against a tank that's actually heavier, which is cool. That obviously goes without saying that you also would want to increase the armor then. Just, you know, to make it harder for the enemy to pierce you. Alright, let's reset those stats again. And then there's engine. Well, what does engine do? It just does one thing, max speed. And if I look at this, I start with 12 kilometers per hour and I could go up to 14.4. That's not that much. I mean, it is, what, 20%? Am I getting this right? 10, 2 on top. Yeah, 12. If you have 12 and you do 2.4, that's 20%. Which is good, but it's already the fastest thing on the map. Where do you want to go? So for tanks, the main stats are reliability and armor, to be quite honest. Because whenever the enemy tries to attack you and it can't pierce your armor, they get a huge penalty. So for tanks, go armor and go reliability. If you get above 100% reliability, that's fine. It's completely fine. Just get it as high as you can. So currently, I'm a little torn. Let's see what we can do here. Do I want to increase this or do I not want to increase this is the first thing. If I can get the medium tank, it's probably worth having that. Thing is, I would have to produce the medium tank and I would have to change my division templates because the medium tank is not a natural upgrade of a light tank. Oh, I have all this Austrian crap now. Ooh, great. So let's have a look. Tank divisions here. If I go and say, let's add an armored battalion in the division designer, it asks me, heavy tank or light tank, what do you want? So medium tank would be here as an extra button, which means I cannot just go in and change my division over to medium tanks and then just hope it happens on its own. No, I do need to produce those medium tanks first. They will not be filled in with light tanks if I have any gaps. And we are too close to war to actually just start a new medium tank line and go that route. So that's too late. Let's remove all this crap that nobody needs. And have a quick look at Austria and see what happens here. So we have unassigned divisions. Those are the Austrian divisions. You are just going to join the line up here. I don't even know what you are. Let's see. You are not bad, actually. I can change these over to regular infantry and won't lose that much. So let's do this right now. Just that one. Yup. And then I can delete this template because I don't need it anymore. Thank you very much. Perfect. What else did we gain? 5 factories. That's also not that much. I had hoped for a little more, but we are making more infantry equipment, which is good. We need that. We need way more factories. So now is probably the time to just go in here and say, you know what, everything that's not yet started, let's get that out of the way. We can do that later. Let's repair all the things first. You just finished that one factory. Go there, you're almost done, go there, and then that one. Perfect. And now we just need a crap ton of military factories. So where are we going to build them? Where does it look good? Well, obviously here, 100%. That's perfect. So I'm just going to shift click. That's 7 factories. Yeah, you will be busy for a while. There's 100%. Anything else? That's good. That's 90. How are our new territories looking? Not too great. There's another 100%. We're going to take that 80 as well. And now we need oil. All the oil in the world. We're just going to mix it in between there. Some oil here. Don't want to get too close to the borders. We're going to fight there eventually. We might lose some territory, which means we will not be able to avail of all those factories. Oh, building in the east is not a thing. Could as well just build here. Who cares? Yeah, we're not going to lose this territory, so that's good. And we're just going to mix those in between all these factories, so whenever one of these lines gets done, at least one of these oil plants gets produced. That looks nice. That's way too nice for me. I don't go through that much effort usually. I'm just gonna say you click everywhere and then wait for it. But we need it this time. We do have political power. What else are we gonna do with this? Oh, we can actually restart this. Perfect. Anschluss of Austria has just happened. Hindenburg disaster. Oh no, German Zeppelin goes down. So, am I going to work on this, on an upgrade to our tanks? Well, let's have a look at the tank situation here. Can we get another one? 1941 to get the Leopard. Or Leopard, if you're not German. That's still way too far away. If I were to research that, see that, 943 days, that's 3 years just to research it. So we will be stuck with the Panzer II for now. So it might be good to just make that as good as we can.
That's insane.
The thing is, once we do that, we actually have to produce it, because it's a new tank. We will lose efficiency in our production, and we will have to creep up slowly to get our efficiency back. But just for the purpose of, you know, this tutorial, I'm actually going to show it. Following the return of Austria to the Reich, we now share a border with Yugoslavia. The government of Prince Paul has been fairly quiet about their stance on our proposed reordering of Europe. Perhaps we should remind them that the time will come when they must make a choice. Yeah, this is just one of those events. I'm just gonna squeeze them and see what happens. You technically get a claim on Yugoslavia through your focus tree, so that might be
Already
something.
working on it.
That's
I'm
good.
already working on it.
Yeah, it's looking good. Let's see if Yugoslavia is actually doing something against it. Independence of Yugoslavia is guaranteed by Czechoslovakia, so once you attack Yugoslavia, since we are in a faction, Czechoslovakia will declare on you, which will basically mean they declare on me, and I will just crush them.
Well, I'm befriending them. I'm trying to befriend you.
Okay, that's good. That works for me. That's all fine. You
I
sucker.
figure, you know, let's deal with Russia before, you know.
Yeah, what am I doing?
Get
Oh
some
yeah,
allies
tank.
and
Okay, let's upgrade this tank. We have 72 experience. It's not much, but it's a little. See, 2 ticks in armor and 1 tick in reliability, and we cancel out the reliability malus. I actually want to have that higher. 88% is good, and that's all the 70 we have. It doesn't give us much armor, but it gives us a little bit, which might help. Or we take these out and put these in here, but then we're losing them too fast. 64% reliability is quite bad. How about that? Can't go any higher than that. Well, we will be as soon as the war gets going. 2.2 on armor. Yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad. Honestly, for this light tank, it's not really worth it. For a heavy tank, it's worth it because, you know, you get your 20% in 5 ticks. So if you already have a base armor of 100, you get more than you have a base armor of 10. So I guess here, we just don't want to lose them as fast. Where are we? 96%, 104%, and 1 tick in armor. Yeah, why not? So we are 100% reliability, lose a little bit in speed, and we get 0.7 armor. Isn't that great? Safe. That's now known as the Panzer IIA, and we can actually, with this little green button, decommission the original model, which means they are going to be shoved over to the outdated equipment, which you can see here. That also means you consider the heavy tank. Great, go away. There you go. So now we have a new tank, and we can just go in here and say, actually upgrade. It also tells us, oh, not yet. It will. It should. Usually gives you an icon up here telling you have outdated equipment. It might not do it because this is not technically outdated. It's the same tank. It's just we made it outdated by clicking the icon. That one? Okay, let's do it manually. And since it's the same model, we don't drop down so much in production efficiency, but we did drop down quite a bit. We're at 52% and we can go up to 80%, so there's just 30% production we're currently not doing. But we're getting there. Let's get back up to speed 4. And let's see where we spend our political power. Tank designer might be a thing. Let's see, what do we have here? Armor research time is good. Reliability soft attack is also good. Armor and hard attack is good. Reliability plus 10% and max speed plus 5%. That would cancel out what we just reduced. That sounds good. Yes, I'm going to take that one. What else could we do here relatively soon? Well, we can still go through our political advisors and see if we find anybody here that helps us. Like Captain of Industry, Infrastructure Construction Speed goes up. Would have needed that earlier, but then we did fight wars. So we need all the other stuff as well. I think the War Industrialist, Military Factory Construction Speed plus 10%. That is good. That is really good. Okay. For now, we're happy. Oh, we almost have enough power to do it again. That's perfect. So, did we go through the diplomacy options yet? We didn't, right?
No, we didn't.
Well, then let's say click on Russia somewhere. Click on the Russian flag.
Yep.
And then you should see under diplomacy a lot of different buttons you could technically click, right?
Yep.
So I have declare war because I do have a war goal. I have justify a war goal. Which you should also have, which, you know, enables us to justify against them. We've seen that when I justified on Poland.
Yep.
Guarantee independence. Basically means once you do this, you are spending a little bit of political power, 25, and you guarantee the independence of a nation. If anybody declares war on that nation, you can immediately declare war on them. That's what the Allies usually do on all the nations that Germany wants to attack. Then you have ask for military access and offer military access. Now, a second ago we had Austria between us, right?
Yes.
So if you wanted to get through Austria to come into my territory to support me with the war effort against Russia, you would have to ask them for military access to move your troops through there. They could say no, and then you wouldn't be able to get through.
Yep.
You cannot, even though if you have military access, you cannot just put your troops into Austria and directly attack across the Austrian border into another territory. That wouldn't work. You have to be situated in a country that's actually at war with the country you're going to attack. So, you or me.
Yep.
Offer military access is the other way around. You can offer Spain military access, which means that Spain can send their troops into your territory to guard your coastlines if you wish. That's the thing. Non-aggression pact is also quite clear. You just tell another nation you don't want to attack it, and they don't want to attack you. And there's actually sort of a algorithm behind that. When you hover over it, it tells you for the first 12 months you cannot break this pact no matter what you do. You cannot justify or declare. And after that, the percentage goes up that you can actually do it, depending on how many divisions you have stationed along a common border. Quite interesting, huh? You tell them, I'm not going to attack you, here's 400 divisions looking over the fence. But that's how it works. Alright, invite to faction. Soviet Union is already in a faction, so we can't invite them, and the Axis, our faction, requires the joining country to have a fascist popularity greater than 30%, currently only 2%. Alright, there's another set of factors here. Basically, when you are a democratic nation, so if I were to do this with the United Kingdom, it will tell me, first of all, it's already in a faction, then yeah, we have the 30% thing, and the United Kingdom is democratic and needs world tension at 80% to join a faction. We're currently at 33%. So there's a lot of factors here that would people prevent you from just joining forces. Obviously, we're both players. The only thing that counts is these hard facts. Like, if we were democratic, we would need 80% world tension. Otherwise, there's no way to join a faction other than through a focus. If you have a focus that says you will immediately found a faction and all of these nations will join, then that's what happens. That's just the way it works. You do have a focus that lets you join the Axis, for example. Although, you know, in our case, you just need to ask me and it's done.
Yeah, that's a nice thing.
Mm-hmm. Then you have request license production. I mean, even though there's a tick, a cross in it, you can still click on it, it just won't work. You can request a license for producing stuff that the Soviets have researched. So, for example, they have infantry equipment, the basic, and infantry equipment 1. And towed artillery 1. So if they had, let's click on the tanks here, they do have the Great War Tank and the Light Tank. So if they had medium tanks, you could request a license that you could produce their tanks for your own goods. That's new, and I love it. Basically means if you play a minor nation, you could ask Germany for Light Tank 2, because Germany starts out with Light Tank 2. And you could just produce the better ones. It's quite nice. At the bottom it says they will not accept. If you hover over that, it tells you why.
Yep.
You see that?
Yep.
Good. There's positive and negative reasons. You always, for this to work, to get a green tick, you always need a base difference of +1. Let's put it this way. And there's a lot of factors, again, that go into play here. And some of them, well, one of them we're definitely going to talk about in a second. But there's also hard facts in the game. Like, the Soviet Union has strategic reasons to be hostile to the German Reich. -100. Soviet opinion of the German Reich is what we're going to talk about in a second. There's others. You know, there is... might be drawn into a war. Or is not fighting the same war. Or is on opposing sides of a war. Or something like that, you know? Or just is in a war with each other, is a perfectly valid reason to not be able to do this. That goes for all the others, like military axis and join a faction and all that stuff as well. You will have the same reasons in there. Now, the interesting thing is, when you get to a stage where this is at -9, so a 1-digit difference. -9 to 0, basically. And that brings us to the opinion. If you look at the diplomacy screen there, you have, well, the Soviet flag, obviously, then you have the Soviet star, then it says Soviet Union, Comintern, Joseph Stalin, right?
Yes.
Then you have the national unity of 55%.
Yes.
And then next to that, you see a relationship screen. This little box with your flag and the Russian flag.
Mm-hmm.
Now on top, you have your opinion of them, which doesn't matter for anything, so just disregard that. You need the bottom value. That is their opinion of you. For me, it's -60.
Oh, me too.
So, you can improve this up to +100. And if you just remove the last digit, that gives you the modifier. So -60 is currently a -6. And you can get it up to +100, so +10. So you have a difference of 16 that you could influence them, right?
Right.
Get me so far? That's good. Because if you look in the diplomacy list, in all the other buttons, the second one from the bottom is... No, not the second one from the bottom. Which one is it?
Boost party popularity or...
No. Improve relations. There, it's 6th from the top. We skipped over that, actually. Improve relations. Will cost 10 political power to start improving and also require a daily cost of valuable figure of 0.4 for me. Because different ideology groups and whatnot, the cost can be higher or lower. This will increase their opinion of you. So you can get it up to +100, so we could make a difference of 16. Now if we go back here and request license production, we're at -112. So we won't get it into any positive values. So it's completely useless to even try it. But if it was, let's say, -9, and you can get it, you can make a difference of +16 just by improving relations, you will get them to +1 eventually. If nothing else in the world is changing. So you could say, okay, I want license production, I want a non-aggression pact, or I want you to join my faction, or whatever, and you're just this a little bit below the threshold to be able to do that. Improve relations, get them there. If you're already at +80, well, you can only get them to +100. It's only a difference of 2, right? 20 translates to 2. So if you're -3, you will be stuck at -1, even if you improve. Again, no use doing it. There's a little math behind that, but it's really, really easy math because we're talking about small figures here. So that's things to think about when you look at these figures. That's why it's always good to just press the buttons and then hover over they will not accept and see how negative you actually are. Because you might just get there. What else do we have? Start Lend-Lease. You can just give them the equipment you produce. So if Japan fights China and you see China losing and you want China to win or at least prolong the war so that Japan loses more forces, you can just send guns to China. It's quite nice. I've done that before, and that's something to talk about when we get to the bigger wars, actually. You can request a Lend-Lease. It's the same the other way around. You just ask other people to give you stuff. That's what you would usually do in a multiplayer game, as the UK, for example. You would produce all the fighters and send them somewhere. And Spain or France. France, for example, would just request all the guns, and the Soviet Union would request all the guns, and, you know, that's how that works. Send volunteers, we've done that. Expeditionary Force is it's the same as volunteers, but you lose control. So you just send them your troops and they do whatever they want with it. If they lose them, they're gone. You just enrich their army, fully equipped. And then there's boost party popularity. You can just say, okay, Soviet Union, you're completely communist, I want you to be fascist. You just boost the fascist popularity. It takes ages to do so, but you might get them to a coup. You might get them to, 50% or higher to actually change their government over. And you can stage a coup, which is the last button. It's interesting, I can actually do a democratic coup. You can't do a communist coup on the USSR because they are already communist. That makes sense somehow. You just incite a rebellion. Some part of the USSR will split off as probably Russia and will fight the rest of the USSR. So that might open up a line in the back when you're fighting in the front. It's a nice idea if you have surplus political power and don't need it for anything. Usually that just fails. One of the interesting things to do if you actually do multiplayer, you just gang up all the fascist countries and just immediately start boosting party popularity in the United States and plan a coup. And that will, well, if 4 or 5 countries do that, it will actually go quite quick. And all of a sudden you have an American Civil War, fascist versus democratic, and a fascist win. Well, since it's fascist, it will actually probably ask you to join your faction. Then you can just send all your troops over and just steamroll America. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. But that's it for spending political power and the diplomacy with other nations. And I still have to do this research in a second here. Alright, well that's it for me. You got all of that? You happy now? You're an expert?
Getting there. Getting
Good! Just say yes.
Yes.
Alright, for those in the stream, don't go anywhere, we'll continue straight away, and for those watching the video, that's it for this episode. We've gone way over time anyway, but what needed to be said, needed to be said. Don't forget to justify a subscriber goal, also blitzkrieg the like button. Follow me on Twitter if you want to catch the next live stream and be part of all the madness that's happening here. I am Scryptar, he is Scott, and you are dismissed.